So today I'm doing some testing on some high voltage on this, and I'm trying to set it for a lift test, and it's not going so well so far, but this is the beginning of it. We're just testing where we're at. We have negative to the bottom plate and positive to the center plate. So as you can see, we're barely getting the voltage to rip a little bit. The one thing I want to show you in this experiment is how it moves to the center. So give it a minute. There it goes. It started. Let's see if we can't start it again. There it is. Now it's not actually on those bolts. It's just on the plate there. And it'll move in and out. And see, it tries to do it again. I'm not sure if the magnets are having an effect on it or if it's just the voltage at this point. But it's certainly interesting to look at. And I don't really know what to make of it at this point. I just know that it's doing it. One thing I do in this test, just so you know, is we're trying to calculate distance between the plate, bottom plate and the top plate, in order to get the field to work properly. And then I'll adjust how much power I put into it with volts and amps to see if I can't get the effect right. There it goes again, swirls right to the center. Anyway, that's pretty interesting. You see it right to the center. Alright, let's go ahead and finish this one up and we'll move on to the next test for the day. As you can see here, I have the bottom plate moved down quite a bit more. Probably about a ½ inch at least. Maybe even 3/4. But what I wanted to show you is I'm doing this. I'm connecting my screwdriver to the center plate and putting it off the side on my bottom plate there. And I'm just trying to see if we got conductivity in this. So it makes a cool looking effect over here on the side when it turns. Let's see if I can get over there. Okay, so at this point I just turned on my Tesla coil. You can see the sparking happening at the top. I'm just checking to see if I got a little bit of a field going, and I have just a small one on this. And I wanted to see how it affects the high voltage. So it's not really giving it any more strength right here. So it kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping it would. But we're not getting a whole lot more strength out of it. But there's that cool effect it looks like, but we're not getting what we want out of this, so we're going to have to change the configuration again. Okay, as you can see, I moved the plate up quite a bit. Just so we all understand this, I have the positive to the center plate and negative to the bottom plate. It's causing a very weird thing to happen. The magnets themselves and the eddy current, I don't know if it's forcing it or not, but it's forcing it down to touch the bolt that holds in the fan. Now, obviously, we know electricity goes to the shortest distance possible, so it should try to contact the upper disc before it touches that bolt at all. I wanted to show this because it's just an anomaly that I ran into, and I'm not sure what's causing it yet. Okay, on this test right here, I moved up the bottom plate quite a bit. At this point, it should never touch the bottom. So let's see, we got spark. It's still ringing towards the center a little bit. On this one, I think I blew out one of my magnets. And what you'll start to see is, I think when I turn it dark, is it's going to stay over one magnet. And I think it took all the magnetic force out of it, and it just left the material. So the material is going to spark out fast. So there we go. I just turned on my light there. And I'll turn off the main lights here. And we'll just turn up the voltage a little bit and see where it goes. Yeah, there it goes. It's on the plate right there. It's on the magnet. It's on the plate. It's on the magnet right there. It's locked. So I moved it closer. I'm no longer getting the sparks going down towards the bolt that holds in the fan. Now it wants to stay locked on the magnet. Again, I have the positive to the center and negative to the bottom. Yeah, it pretty much wants to stay there. It'll go in between. It likes to be in the center. It does not like to be on the outside in this configuration. And there it goes. It just locked on the magnet again. It's not on the shell itself. It's actually right there on the magnet. But I'm turning on and off the voltage, and I'm trying to get it to move. And it keeps forming right on that magnet. I have a feeling when I take that one off, it's dust. It'll need to be redone again, put in a magnetic field and recharged. But this thing is not. It's not working. It died on me. So when I say it blows out when you put the magnet to it, depending on the strength of the magnet, it could be pretty fast. These are just, I think it was like 40 pounds or less on the magnet. May even be 14 pounds. It's just basically a magnet you put on your fridge. So it doesn't have very much magnetic force to it at all, so it can be blown out very easily. Anyway, you can see it. It is what it is. Let's go on to the next test. Okay, since I blew out my magnet on the last one, I took them off. And before I ran anything again, I ran this test again so that you could see kind of some of the voltage going on. There's no Tesla coil on my top plate right here. This is all from the bottom plate and what it's doing. So you can see it swirling in the center there. And you can see it sparking on the brush right there. So there's definitely an interconnection going on there. You see it just dances around. And that's without the magnet. So the magnets probably had no effect of it going to the center. It just likes to go to the center. So that was interesting. Okay, so we set up again this time. I'm not running any magnets on it again. And I'm just trying to get the field to go. What I did was I reversed the field. Negative to the center plate and positive to the bottom. Let's see what the result is in the change. I can see the field coming on right there. I know you probably can't see it all that well right now. I'll turn off the lights in a minute, but I'm setting it right now. And I'm changing exactly how many amps go into it. And there we go. I switched off the lights. You can see the field now. Apparently, this only works in one way. Negative to the center plate, positive to the rotating plate. So as you can see, the field looks pretty good. We're getting a strong reading out of it. Anyway, I think this is one of the best. You can see right there. I just turned it up just a hair. Right there. You see all that white in there. I got way too many amps in this thing. But when I'm moving it back and forth, I'm adjusting the amount of amps that go into it. You need just enough for push, not enough to do this though. This is kind of bad. Makes cool looking effects, but ultimately kills the effect going into the center plate for charging. Well, let's take a look around this, see if we can't see the effect a little better. As you can see, just so you know, the outside is cut with jagged edges, and what you'll notice is the spark develops right on that jagged edge, and it goes onto the center disc there. And because the center disc has more size to it or more mass, it always goes towards it. So you can see as they just start to spark off a little bit, every single one of them doing it. And you see it in great detail on this one. It has to be jagged on the edge to pull this effect off. If it's smooth, the effect doesn't come out. But it's putting pressure on that center plate. Is it enough for any kind of lift? No. I think the scale would tell more of that. But I don't know that I could pull this effect off with the magnets on it. We're going to have to go back to that and put some more magnets on it and check it out. But anyway, this field looks really cool. Let's put a piece of wood in there. Yeah, that's a good idea, Nathan. Let's just try to start everything on fire. Nope, doesn't really do anything. If there were more amps into it, then yeah, I think it would start to fry the wood a little bit. But since there's not, there's really no effect on that piece of wood. Alright, well, I think we've seen this effect enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I did next for this thing. Okay, now we're still set up in the same configuration. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start checking the fields a little bit. I have to know that the fields are going to be what they were before I started tinkering with this. Before, the Tesla coil was top disc and bottom disc. And this time I have a high voltage center plate on the negative, positive plate at the bottom. So it's a different configuration. So we're going to have to turn on the Tesla coil and check our beats and make sure they're in the same spot. And we're also going to have to check field strength. Yeah, right now I'm going to tell you this field strength sucks. We get a lot out the bottom. Make contact right there close to it. It becomes higher. Put it over top. We're getting a great field on the top right there. On the outside, not so much. Still dumping to the bottom though. Every time I have the center plate charged, it dumps energy to the bottom. So we'll try some of these hoop ones over here. The round ones here in a minute. But I'm going to tell you, this field, usually I could throw this thing out, 30 inches, no problem. I'm getting less than 6 inches on this field. And the only reason it's lighting up on the right side there is because of my Tesla coils over there. Alright, so we got one of these hoop ones, the round ones, whatever you want to call them. That one looks like it's lighting up. We got to move the camera angle to see this even better. Yeah, I definitely got conductivity through the whole frame, that's for sure. Like I said, I don't care for the field on this at all. So you see my top Tesla coil, when it's connected there, we're getting a good field out of it. So, I mean, I like that. So I guess I just don't like this whole configuration is what I'm getting to. I don't think I'm getting a desired result out of it. So the bigger one lights up too. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now we have it reset back up and we're into our last test here. As you see, I put magnets back on them. This time I put my Neodymiums on there. And because they're so close to the plate, they're sparking out. Now, I can reduce the amount of current going into it, but it's not going to help. The shell of the magnet itself is sparking on all of them. And I need the jagged edge of the disc itself in order to get it to spark out right. So as you can see it's just following the magnet shell now. So can I run this as a lift factor? The answer is no. It's not going to work. I'll show you a little more at night, but I think this is pretty much busts the whole notion of this being part of the lift. It's just, it doesn't work in the correct configuration at all. Though some of the effects are kind of cool to look at, it's really not helping. As a matter of fact, it's killing my field on the outside, and that bothers me more than anything. Yeah, we got a nice looking spark going. So you can see it just arcing out on the magnet. It does light up the light below it though. That just so you can see it. The more voltage I put into it, the more it lights up. Well, yeah, like I said, I think this is pretty much a bust. I'm glad that we looked at it. I'm glad that I saw the effect. As soon as I get the scale in, I'll go ahead and measure it without the magnets. We'll just see what it is, just in case. But I don't think this is going to work out for us. It was a good thought, but just didn't work in practice. Alright, so all the tests are done for the day, and I just kind of want to review what's going on here. As we see, we can pull off the effect without magnets. We cannot pull off the effect with magnets. So as a lift factor, it's not going to work. You could say, well, can you pull it down a little further or anything like that? No, it's not possible. It arcs out on the shell of the magnet. And you saw in another case it arced out on the magnet. So it's not going to work as the effect that we want it to. I wish it did. I truly do. It would have been much better. Anyway, I mean, it kind of is what it is, guys. Cool effect. Looks nice. Not going to work for our project. It's actually taking the field that I created before, and it's just kind of ruining it. I can't say it any other way. I was taking the field and putting the Tesla coil field in the center and taking the static field, or the high voltage field, sorry, and I was pushing it out. And that created a cool effect, and it was actually creating a form of a bubble with two layers. One layer on the inside with the Tesla coil field, and then one layer on the outside with that static field. And it was really doing a lot to create good fields. Just because the bottom plate is not connected to the Tesla coil, I'm not getting the same field, and the distance is horrifyingly bad. It's cut my distance down to what, maybe 6 inches instead of down to close to 3 feet. So that's not going to work either. Not that I think the field needs to go out that far, but the strength of the field has to be enough where I can tune one to the next. And there's no tuning in this. There's no tuning back and forth. So I'm going to say total bust, guys. This is not going to work. It's pretty to look at. Not very practical in practice. So we're going to switch back the other way and just play with the field some more. But at least it was interesting to see exactly where it is, to bring it out to its full extent, and to see, hey, can we make this work or can we not make it work? And, you know, it was nice to know, to put it in your head that, hey, this is where we're at with it. And, you know, I'm okay with that. You know, every result is a result that you can look at. So good, bad, and different, you're going to get them all. And this is just one of those ones that, hey, it just wasn't working in my favor here. So, but it did make a cool looking effect, and I'm happy about that. And I did, you know, learn a few things. So that's always good. But anyway, it is what it is. If you like what you saw today, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Do all those fun things and have yourself a great day. Thank you.